Welcome to Maker Conversations. I'm your host, Tiff Marchand from NIGHTCARVER Design. This show is sponsored by Saburrtooth Power Carving. You can use NIGHTCARVER 10 to save 10% on your next order. And a huge thank you to the sponsor. We're just wrapping up a really fun event. We did a pop culture icon challenge with Makers Challenge. And our guest today here, Chris Chambers, he actually participated in this contest, made a really cool piece. Now, this is already completed just actually a few days ago at this time. But when we recorded, it was fresh and we were both in the midst of it. And we were just going through extending this because, as you all know, December is crazy and 17 days was just not enough time to make what we were all making. A shout out to the carvers that competed with me. They were amazing. Leah, Becca, and Kendra. I'll tag them in the show notes. They are just outstanding artists, and it was a real pleasure to perform with them, essentially. All right, let's dive in with Chris Chambers from Dream in the Woods and get to know him a bit. Love the background.
Thank you. I didn't really know what else to do. I'm like, this is okay.
Oh yeah, just like a bunch of crazy cool shit. That'll be okay. That'll be okay. I love it. I literally just spent a ridiculous amount of time propping that donut up so that way it would be in it, because I'm like, how do I hold this thing up right now? I don't have a stand built for it yet. So I've got like an upside down easel.
That is so cool.
Trying. I just finished. Well, I will say it's finished. I think it is actually. It feels weird to say, like that point where you don't know if you could call it quits on something. I'm like so torn. I'm like, I think it's actually done. I haven't celebrated it much yet. It's because I can't glue the sprinkles on. That's what's
good. Yeah, I got like mine's in the garage. Mine's like mostly done. I just gotta finish the frame and
well,
I was gonna make
I'm gonna give you some insider info real quick, just so you know, before you tell me anything. We're going to extend it for another 2 weeks. So there's more time. Okay, good.
I heard that today.
Who spilled the beans? Who spilled it? Did I spill it already?
No, I didn't get it from you. I got it from somebody that got it from somebody. And then I was like, no, I'm going to slow down. I'm almost done.
I'm glad though. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Again, I love this background though. Like having Freddie just peering over you, because I can't see the rest of the guys. The rest of the guys are all hidden.
It's like I was like trying to focus on me. It's like the whole.
That's fantastic. You've run out of room in there.
I know. I got like the rest of this wall. Like I got over here. I got like the Thundercats real big.
Have you seen my husband's room that he has?
No, I just seen the stuff you make for it.
Okay, I'll have to do an actual reel of it. I always show it in stories, but I never like actually post it to my page. He won't let me film. He has to hang up another picture. There's like one spot, like he's always moving shit. I'm gonna have to tell him hang something up there so I can film in there. So I can share it. But yeah, my piranha plant's in there now. And then there's just got a bunch of other shit that's in there. Yeah. Well, that's cool. Well, I know we both followed each other just because we both love each other's shit. Like, first of all, so I love those kind of follows where you're just like, oh my God, I love what you do. How did you get into all of this? Like, what made you start?
So like the first thing I ever built was we were adopting our now 18-year-old.
Wow.
She was about to be 5, and I was getting ready to go to Afghanistan before she came in. Mm-hmm. So she got taken away as my wife's niece, so we were adopting her. And this was like 2011 or 12. And then so she was moving in. So basically I built her like a big old playhouse bed. And then I did it all in one day.
That's awesome. Damn.
The very next day, I went to Georgia and then went to Afghanistan.
Well, I guess, desperation where you really wanted to give her something special to come home to. And it's like your send off too. So I could see you just going. That's so exciting. That's a really cool way to start.
Yeah. And then after that, like I got back and I was going to school for, aquaponics is.
No, talk
like
about it.
Fish and the plants, and
so
I was building these super cool systems, and then my wife, we started doing home daycare. So then I built like wall-to-wall playhouses, and then somebody else wanted a bed and they wanted a playhouse, and then everything just kind of like took off from there, maybe like 5 years ago.
Wow, I didn't know you did all that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Do you still do that kind of stuff, or do you try to stay more with art now?
I kind of do. I kind of do everything. Like I
Yeah.
still do furniture here and there, but the aquaponics fell apart like 1 or 2 deployments ago. I was going to UF, and then I was studying sustainable food production. I built systems
Okay.
out there. I was doing all this research, and then deployed again, and then everything died, and I was like, time to stay home.
When you get deployed, how long are you usually gone for? Or you don't know?
It's usually 6 or 7 months.
6 or 7 months. Okay, yeah. So yeah, you start something like that, you can't neglect it for that long.
Yeah, I'm just like, all right. And then I just didn't want to leave. And I was like, I don't want to go back to like, because I was living in Gainesville and living here and going back and forth. My family's here. And so then I was just like, I'll just start building stuff. And then it's like slowly taking off.
That's great. No, I mean, I love it. Like the last couple of years, I have definitely seen like an increasing of people knowing your account and talking about you. And I love that. Like there's a nice little buzz right now and all these maker challenges that you've been doing. Dude, you've been on
No,
fire. You've been like nonstop.
I've been trying. That's the only way I can even like get any kind of exposure at all. I'm like, let me do all these challenges and like do like the most insane thing I could do.
But it's working. At least I feel like it is. I feel like people are noticing you that didn't know you before. And it's
Yeah.
nice. I like seeing that because I'm like, I've known about this guy. I've been talking about this guy. You know what I mean? I hate that about certain accounts don't like pop off, like including mine too. Like I feel like I've struggled for this 12, you know? I'm like, I've been working so hard at it. But it's nice. I love it. What is your favorite thing to make? Like, is there a certain thing?
No, I have no idea. Probably anything for my son. Everything I make for him, he's just like, and then everything he wants has to be like something is a zombie. And then
I saw you were saying like everything's just becoming zombified.
everything. But yeah, I don't know. I like making everything.
That's cool. Now, did you have like a history of growing up and actually like using tools, or is this all brand new?
No, not at all. Even when I went in the Air Force, and that was 2004, and then I never touched a tool in my life. I went and became a mechanic. Like, no, I didn't know nothing about tools. Like,
Is that what you do now? You're a mechanic during the day?
well, now I just kind of like tell everyone what to do, but
Well, yeah, you've been there long enough.
and then I'm just in the reserves now, so I'll do this, and we do home daycare, and then like my 3 days a month, I'll go up there and all that. But yeah, no idea.
So you're enjoying life right now, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like daycare is a lot. Like doing home daycare is a lot.
How many
But
kids?
6 every day.
6.
Every day.
Do they come in this room? Are they all neutralized to this room?
Yeah, like so because my son Link has like all his like big animatronics. They're all desensitized to everything.
Yeah, I figured.
He's got like all the masks. He
Yeah.
brings them all out. Like they're all desensitized.
That's great. Well, it's so funny because like my kids still, like you would think they would be at this point, they won't watch anything scary at all. Like nothing. They're like, no, don't do.
That's our 18-year-old. He's trying to put everything in her room and scare her, and she's not having it. She hates it.
They watch this horrible show though on YouTube called Skibbity, or like one of them does.
He says it all the time. He wants me to make that. I was like, I'm not making that.
No, right? Thank you. There is a line that we will not cross. I do not want to be making toilet art. Like,
no, can't do it.
If listeners, if you don't know what toilet art is, like, just go watch that horrible show. And then he's having nightmares, and I'm like, dude, why do you think you're having nightmares?
Yeah, no way. It's like his birthday cake when he turned 4. He was like, let's do a skibbity toilet cake. We're like, no.
No. I'm probably gonna get asked that this year. Watch. Come March, I'll be making toilet art. You've heard it now. Well, that's crazy though. I love how like you've like full-fledged diving in and like carving now has become like the newest passion.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Do you find it as therapeutic as I do? Like, I love it. Just to kind of like zone out.
Yeah, I definitely do. And then Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Right?
pretty cool. Because then it's just like, it's like the only really, like, I mean, everyone like scrolls stuff and cuts it out. And like, man, once you start adding those details, it's like, it like changes everything. And it's
Exactly.
hard to replicate. It's hard for people to copy that. Like when you start carving it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. When I started making those like the TMT polls and stuff like that, I
Hmm.
haven't seen it. Like I thought I would see people start making stuff like that, but I'm like, come on, guys, like join in. Soon, watch. People are gonna be start more and more.
Yeah, no, those are super cool. Those are super cool.
They're just still sitting in the corner over here. I need to hang them up. We're like afraid to put them in the deck now. Like we finally built the deck where we're gonna be hanging them, and now we're like, but it's winter time. Maybe we should wait for the spring. Like we don't want them to get damaged. But yet they're just sitting in the corner. It's so sad. Does your wife get into this?
Yeah, she's like anytime I have to paint something that's real clean, like that's my go-to. Like she's always like telling me what to do, like painting and everything. Like she don't really do anything anymore, but like in high school and stuff, she'd make like horses out of wire, and she like
Oh,
won like
very
a couple
cool.
art shows. And so
Okay,
yeah, she
wifey.
like yeah. And then that's my idea board. Everything I'm like, should I do this? She's like, nah, I used to do it like this. And I'm like, then we go back and forth, and then like, and we always figure it out.
I love it. My husband's always just like, make it bigger. What?
And she's always like, it's too big. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know how I'm ever going to ship that. I'm like, this is why I got like a 4-foot Ghostbusters on my wall.
Yeah, you did to go big there. You just made it for your house. That's all that was.
That's all.
That's all that was. You didn't know it at the time. You thought, hey, this is sell. It still might pan up again. Let people see that thing.
I'm like, it's pretty big.
It is. It's awesome. And it's super shiny. Did you put
Yeah.
epoxy on it? Or are you
Yeah.
yeah.
Epoxy everything.
I was at Total Boat yesterday or like Friday, and I was just like, man, I used to epoxy things. Maybe I should, like at the end. I loved putting the epoxy after I painted and just watching it come
Yeah.
alive. I just haven't since like I had kids. I stopped using it. They took
Mhm.
up all my space.
Yeah, it's so messy too. Like I have so many people messaging me. I'm like telling everyone how to epoxy. I'm like, it's really easy. It's just really messy.
Yeah.
Really messy.
I got a Total Boat mat now. I'm ready. I'm ready for the mess.
Yeah, I did. I think I forgot. I think it was like maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. I did a Mortal Kombat piece for them, and then I brought it to like Workbench Con or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
And that
Did
was
you?
pretty. Yeah, yeah. And like I forgot how many years ago it was. I think it was like 3 years ago.
I say
But
it
like I
wasn't when I was
stippled
there.
the whole thing. It was I think it was brutal. It was so dope.
That's cool. So you've been to Workbench. I didn't know that. That's
No,
cool.
no, I never went. I just sent
You
the
just
piece.
sent the art. Oh, okay. I thought you said like you hand delivered it. I was like, that's awesome.
No, I shipped it, then they brought it down on a pallet.
A
Didn't even
part
see
of you was there.
it.
It's an experience, like going to those kind of things. It's crazy. But so is Maker Camp too.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
People go nuts. But you have young kids, or you have a young son right now. It's tough when your kids
Yeah,
are young. I didn't
yeah.
go until our kids were 5. I think 5 is the first time I went.
Mm. Yeah, it seems like you're going everywhere. Like you're always it seems like you're always somewhere doing something.
I'm exhausted. No, I've been having a lot of fun. Yeah. Not having to be at a desk all day and finally like feeling that freedom to like get up and move and just go do something. Like
Yeah,
I have a really hard time with like not becoming a workaholic of just like computer, computer, computer.
yeah,
And I've been trying to walk away from it a little bit more, and it's been very freeing. Although I do have to sit my ass back down and start doing some more computer work, you know. But hey, it's fun to venture a little.
yeah.
So what's next on your plan? Like, what are you doing with, your business? Are you trying to continue to bring in artwork? Are you trying to do series? Like, what are your thoughts?
I have no idea. I'm always all over the place. Like I always say I'm gonna stop doing custom orders and then like focus on like the art I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then people will come to me and I'm like, well, I could take that idea and do this. And I get stuck doing more customs and then trying to throw stuff together. And then these challenges, I'm like, well, let me try to do like I just try to do everything.
Well, the challenges are nice because you push yourself. Like,
And then you have a timeline. So I'm like,
mm-hmm.
okay, let me throw this here.
So is having an extended deadline less exciting than for you? Did you like the intense deadline?
Yeah, I do. Because I'm like, I'll do it. Like the last one that I didn't win, but I'm like, it is what it is. But I'm like, the last one, I'm like, man, I did like the A10. I had the A10 table I did. I did the Donald Duck. I did the big light up
Yeah, you
sign.
did.
And I think I had like 8 orders, like all due like in that month. And I'm like, okay, let's get it all done. And I'm like, man. And I got it all done.
That's awesome. You tend to though, like when you take on those kind of things, like you're gonna get it done. Like you just have to like hunker down and focus.
Yeah. And then like with the challenges, because it's not an order, I'm just like, all right, let me try this. So I've learned something from like every single thing I built and every challenge. I'm like, I might try to like get a new skill, try like a new technique.
Yeah,
Like,
now you
wait
got
do you see the
fish.
background for this skeleton Rick? I'm like, never did it before, and I'm like, man, this thing is ridiculous. It's like
Are
one of
you
the coolest
posting that
pieces I've ever
tomorrow
done.
or do we have to wait
Yeah, I'm
longer?
going to.
Okay, okay,
I got to
okay.
do the frame. So I carved the frame out, and now I'm like gold leafing everywhere I carved, and it's like super dramatic.
I love that. I've been watching people do like the gold leaf signs and stuff like that. I'm like, I kind of want to start playing. I got enamel paint from Alpha 6 and
Mm-hmm.
I have been wanting to do it for a really long time, but don't have the budget to start buying all those tools and stuff. So
Yeah.
I got paint the other day and they had like a special, like, and they sent 2 like free bottles of enamel. And I was like, oh, cool. I don't have anything. So I asked I emailed them like, is there any way if I pay shipping, like exchanges for some more acrylic paint? She's like, no, but I'd love to send you some brushes and some stuff to get you started for it. And I was like, oh, all right. Well, fuck. I've always wanted to do this. I'm like, now it's a gateway drug. So I've got 2 colors of enamel and I'm just going to make it work.
Super cool.
I'm going to make what I've been wanting to make for so long. And it's such a weird thing that I want to make, but I want to make a freak flag, like literally a little flag that says freak on it. And I've been dying to do that. And I'm like, I'm going to hand paint that. That'll be fun. That'll be soothing. Cause I always tell people to let their freak flag fly. Like when we're chatting, I like, be your authentic weirdo. I want to see it. You know what I mean? So I was like, I want to put that in my shop, just a little freak flag. And then if people want one, I'd love to make them,
Yeah.
So it's going to be blue and mauve because those are the 2 free colors I randomly got. But so
Cool,
we'll make it work. It'll be very 70s retro look with those colors. Is there like a material you're dying to use next?
Nah.
No, is that like one that's tempting you?
Nah, not really. I don't know. I like more like making stuff. Like, so I made like that Spider-Man head, and now I'm like, so I'm doing this Rick, and he's like all like pop art, and he's like grimy, and then I got like pops of color, and I'm just like, I'm like, now I just want to do a Spider-Man. Like I want to do like a whole Spider-Man with like a crazy background, and no, I don't. I just stuff I want to make.
Yeah.
Like my son, we're supposed to do I haven't had time yet, but he's like, only thing he wants to make, he wants to make like a zombie gingerbread man.
I love that though.
I'm like, we'll make it. So I'm like, I gotta try to squeeze that in.
I have to make a castle by Christmas.
A castle.
That's no big deal, right?
Yeah.
No big deal. I think I'm literally gonna cheat and like just make a miniature one on the laser, but let my son and I like build it together because he's been wanting to make a Mario castle forever.
Are you gonna do like
Like
the
a
full
princess,
like,
he wants a Princess Peach castle. That's what he wants. And I'm like, oh, it won't be like super, super fancy, but like something for him to build because
yeah.
you got to start fulfilling those wishes. I'm always, like you said before we get on here, like I'm always so busy. I'm trying to get this donut done because the rest of December is dedicated to making kids art. So like I got to make presents. I'm like, I've got to just hunker down and focus on these children too. So you'll be seeing what does he want? A Bowser.
Hey, I'm supposed to do a Bowser.
You got to do a Bowser?
He's like, we got to do a Bowser. And we can make him. I'm like, let me guess. He's like a zombie. I'm like, zombie. I'm like, okay.
So good. We'll both be doing Bowsers. I've got to do a hockey sign with a 37 for one. I asked all my nephews what they wanted and stuff.
Oh, nice.
And what is the last one? Oh, a Jaws one.
Oh, that's super cool.
So I have one nephew who's obsessed with Baby Shark, but he's like 5 or 6, and he's not gonna want that on his wall in like 2 years. So I go to my sister and I was like, so he likes sharks, you're saying? And I was like, how about a nice little Jaws sign? So I gotta do that. And that's just for my nephews. So like my kids, I still gotta figure out what they want. But like I've got some fun art coming up, and I'm like, gotta try to push this out as fast as I can. But I want it to be perfect too. So she's slow going. Plus, I'm editing a YouTube video out of all the footage because I've been dying to actually get out there and make a YouTube video. Like I did release one, but it was like a half-ass. So I didn't even publicize it. It's out there. If everybody wants to learn how to make a Ninja Turtle, I teach you.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
You should.
I just realized you had a YouTube like a little bit ago.
Yeah, go on there. There's a full-length video of me making a Ninja Turtle tiki pole and showing you how I do it from the start to the finish. It's all vertical. And I was like, no, I want to do a real legit video.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I'm doing with this one. I do have all the footage for the oh my god, the Bride of Chucky piece. I recorded a video for it too, and I just haven't had the time to edit it.
So are you recording? Are you recording for real? Like you recording like 2 separate things, like for reels and for YouTube? Yeah, that's where I messed up because I was like, oh, I'm gonna film all this, I'm gonna make a reel, then edit a YouTube, and then I'm like, this is the worst format. I'm like, it's not the same.
I have been recording everything double. So I'll record it, and then flip the camera, flip the camera.
Oh,
and that's the same thing as like talking to the camera for it. I've been doing vertical and horizontal just so it's easier for editing. I'm like, whatever. And if I like a take better, I'll just make that edit work for the thing too. You know what I mean?
Oh man, you are so busy.
I'm trying to get out of the Instagram wheel of just producing for them because it does help me. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I've gotten so many like tools and stuff for the shop this year because of that. But I want to monetize. I need to make money. I've got a family I'm supporting. So I'm like, I really need to focus on YouTube too. So I'm pushing for that. It's tough.
Oh, it's tough. That was my goal at the beginning of the year. I was like, all right, YouTube. I made a few videos. I was doing my son's Star Wars room. So I was like, gonna do that. And then I just like went into builds and like going to Georgia. And I'm like,
you should just vlog.
Everything just fell apart.
YouTube vlog. You know what I mean?
I should.
Because I think that would work for you because you're always on the go with your lifestyle and your project to project. It'd be cool to just see like, hey, today I'm working on this and just like show what you're working on occasionally and then put it all to video. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Even just for yourself.
I need to. I'm like, we do so much. And then we're like, I feel like we're always going to Disney and just like, I was like, man, we should like film all of this. And then we'll film it and then it'll just stay on our phones forever.
Do you guys just go to Disney all the time? How close are you?
If traffic is good, we can get to the Magic Kingdom in like 35, 40 minutes tops.
Damn.
And if it's not, it's like an hour and 40 minutes.
I'll be there January 23rd to 28th. Or 29th. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. My first time. I'm a Disney virgin.
Oh man.
My husband has it all mapped out. He's got the whole trip planned. It's very cute.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. If you can get there when the crowds aren't really bad, I'm like, it's amazing.
Yeah, well, that's what he's hoping. He's hoping.
I mean, it's hit or miss.
Cooler for me too because I'm a little bitch. I am. If it's too hot, I'm like, nope. Nope.
That's our 18-year-old. Like we stayed at a hotel and we were right there. So we went one night and then she's like, my feet hurt. I'm like, you're 18. Like he's 4. He's just like, let's go to another park. And she's just like done. She's tired. I'm like, ugh.
She sounds like my niece.
Same thing trick-or-treating, like growing up trick-or-treating, she was like, I'm tired. Like my son's like, he's like running to the houses. He's like, let's go.
See, that's what you gotta do. You just gotta make her keep up with him. Like, sorry.
Yeah. That's what she did this year because he had his big old Beetlejuice cart. So she was just like, she was so geeked up, wanted to walk him everywhere.
Now you get to top that every year.
So that's how it's been. Like we've like the first year, he had like his whole Link costume. We dressed him up as Link. He had his little shield and everything. And then the next year he was Boss Baby. We got him a McLaren and a suit. And then he had a whole Viking ship. Like every year it's been so much.
Oh, I'm so glad my kids are just like, give me this. Although I did have a dinosaur and it was one of the most funniest thing ever, like the inflatable dinosaur this year. My
Yeah.
son was waddling around the street trying to keep up with everybody. And then it was hilarious because it was so hard to walk in that thing at dark in people's yards and shit, you know? Like, oh my God, dude. Oh, so I want to know, what is your absolute favorite maker out there right now?
My favorite maker.
What kind of art are you consuming?
So he does like Kelly Stern. It's props and villainy. He does like all kinds of like Star Wars. I look at his stuff. Like he's doing good on YouTube and stuff. He has about 2,800 followers, but his stuff is amazing. He's super nice. He's super cool. And then Eric you had on, he's amazing. Like the stuff he does is like, because I'm still trying to do my son's room, and his stuff is like pretty awesome.
He's really talented at how he like finishes everything. Looks very authentic.
Yeah, he's super cool.
The first recommendation was somebody who's making props for Star Wars movies. You're like, hold on, I'm ready for this question, Tiffany.
And then
so then you follow Burned by Design. Then he makes the metal R2D2s. Yeah, so you have to.
And then Kristen's Creations. I don't know if you've seen Kristen.
Oh yes, oh yes.
She's amazing, and and then like her account's not that big, and I'm like, you're so good, like you're so good.
It'll be there in no time.
Yeah.
Clean, crisp work. That's what I think of when I think of her work.
Yeah, it's like spot on. And then I'm just like, oh, it looks so good. And she's like, yours looks so good. And I'm like, mine's all dirty and grimy. And I'm like, yeah.
That's your style. Did you paint before this too, or is that all stuff that you're just learning as you go?
I've never painted. I was like so bad at painting. Like I would paint stuff and I would ask my wife to repaint it. It would be so bad. And now it's like that's like the most therapeutic thing I do is just like when I just paint it and then go over it and over it. I'm like, I can't even believe it. And I'm like, a lot of people are like, oh, you got an airbrush? I'm like, I wish, never used one. So I'm like, yeah.
I have one and I'm going to pull it out. It's so old. I don't know if it even work. I actually just texted Eric. He hasn't seen it yet. And I said, hey, if I come to Long Island, can I just hang out and we just do a day where you teach me how to airbrush? I'm like, yeah. It's to the point in my life where I just want somebody to just give me a lesson and I don't want to sit there and learn it. I'm like, just fucking show me.
Yeah.
Like, tell me if I'm doing it wrong. Like, show me how to fix it.
He's like doing it and he's painting and I'm like, man.
I'm waiting for the yes. I'm like, come on, Eric, just say yes. Just say yes. I'll bring you a piece of art to say thank you.
Yeah, I'm like waiting for him to carve. He's always talking to me about carving and how like make everything.
That's what I was thinking. I'd bring some carving tools.
He keeps saying it. He's gonna start.
Listen, in my head, I have this whole fairy tale already. I'm gonna go learn how to airbrush with Eric. I'm gonna teach him how to carve. Leave some tools at his house. Head on over to DIY Huntress. Hang out there. Get Ricky TV to come join me. We're gonna chill for the day. Gonna sleep in that guest room that she just advertised, and then I'm gonna mosey on off. I just gotta make that a reality now.
Like I'll go too. I'll go with you. I'm like, golly.
Where you're in Florida? Never I'm talking about a 3-hour drive. You're like, let's go. I'm there. This sounds like a great trip. I'll tell you when. Do you have some frequent flyer miles? Honey, I'll be back. We're gonna be carving and painting. It's my dream day. I got Tiff and Eric. We're all gonna be chilling. That would be fun. We have to make that happen too. But right.
And Ricky's so good. He's so talented.
He's amazing. I love him. The shit he does, like his current bar install right now.
Yeah.
He knows I love him. I send him little messages. Do you know how he did that donut video?
Yeah.
He sent me the like footage for it and I want to remix it so bad, but I'm waiting until like I'm done with the Saburrtooth part of the contest to do like a re-release of me like sanding the donut. Yeah. I filmed some ridiculous stuff to go with his video. It'll be fun.
Yeah, his editing is on point. Like his videos are like, I'm just like, like watching, I'm like, golly, it's like so much
He's
time.
a
And it's like,
showman. Yeah. That's what it is. He's a thirst trap. He likes to make sure he can get it, you know? But yeah, and he has space too. Like, I don't know where you're working, but I got a
a
one-car
garage.
garage. I
I'm a
can't be
garage
doing
in a
dance
bedroom.
moves. Yeah. If I try doing a dance move and I'd knock something over, but I love it. Every second I'm in his, I just got to watch to the end because you don't know what's going to happen.
How long does it take you to, like, what do you edit? Like, whenever you do, like what you're gonna put on the CNC to carve out? Like, what do you use for like all your editing programs and
Yeah.
stuff?
So depending on what it is, I'll use Procreate, but to me sometimes it's just so much faster to just do an Illustrator. I'm most
So you
comfortable
have
in
an
Illustrator.
iPad and you like go in and like
Yeah,
draw it all?
I'll
Or?
draw it out and stuff on the iPad, but I'm still better in Illustrator. Like Adobe Illustrator, it's still the thing. But Procreate, I don't know if it's still only $10, but it was like a $10 purchase and that's it.
Oh,
And then
man.
you can just do it from there. Yeah. Do you have an iPad, right?
I have an iPad, but like we're homeschooling my son, so he just kind of took it over. And I'm like, I've never even used it. This
Time
is
to
the
take
first
it
time I've
back.
ever used it.
Time to take it back.
If I need something, I like try to do it in Photoshop, which takes me forever. Or I'll just like draw it I'll put it on the projector and just redraw it
A lot
by
of people
hand.
use if you don't want like to spend the incredible expensive amount
Oh,
that
I don't. I'll spend if it's easier. Like I'm all about time. I'm like I'll spend the money for time.
it's all depends. So if you just are a guy who just wants to draw with your pencil, then Procreate's where you want to go. If you want to draw with your mouse, then you're gonna use Illustrator.
Oh no, the pencil.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. If you need to be holding the pencil, because then you can convert. Now there's a few steps to take. So you actually have to vectorize that art when you're all done, and you can all learn. There's a ton of tutorials out there and stuff. So just start watching Procreate tutorials and kind of amping yourself up because you're gonna want to study that. But yeah, if you just want to stick with this, like having the pencil in your hand, then that's really where you want to go. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna check that out. Cause I'm like, there's so much stuff. I'm like, oh, like I just want to like redraw something, and then I'm like with the mouse, I'm terrible. And in Photoshop, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, man. I watch some people do this stuff in Photoshop, and I'm like blown away.
No, when I made that Technodrome for my husband, it was all done in Procreate. I picked a picture that looked really good, and I went through and I traced out exactly what I wanted, removed the layers, and then turned it all into a file, slapped it on the CNC, and then I went for it. You know what I mean? Like
that's what I want. So I need to know how to do it.
So you gotta
Procreate.
steal this iPad back from your child, claim it
try.
as it rightfully is. Listen, it's Amazon Prime times, all those sales. Just get him a cheap ass little Kindle.
Yeah, he has one. He uses
My
both
kids
of them
too. They don't even use them. They're like, screw that. We got laptops now, Mom.
Oh man, he tries to take my laptop. I'm like, nah, can't let you have that one too, man.
So what did you grow up doing then? You said you started off with plants and stuff. How did you get into even that? Like the desire for that?
So I got out of high school and I just played basketball in high school. I didn't do nothing else. And then I graduated, and then like none of my friends were doing nothing. I had a couple go off to college, and the other ones were either like selling drugs or doing whatever. And I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So then I went in the Air Force, and then I was active duty for 6 years, and then we got married right when I joined. We've been dating since 10th grade.
Oh, awesome.
And then so I did my 6 years active duty, and then when I got off, I was gonna go to school for horticultural science. Only reason I even moved to Lakeland, I'm from Tampa, and then I was gonna go to Florida Southern, and I was like, we wanted a nursery. We're gonna do plants and all that, and then we just found aquaponics, and then we went to Epcot. You'll go to Epcot and you'll see the
I'll
land.
Be going.
They have aquaponics and hydroponics, and you'll be like, this is a crazy way to grow food. And then I just started going from there, and then just everything kind of like snowballed into each other.
That's awesome. And then that, like, yeah, I sad that faded out, but like you got something that you really loved from that experience. And
yeah, oh, I still love like growing food and everything else. We have like so many fruit trees and stuff crammed in this little quarter acre, but and And like my son's like obsessed with growing. Like I'm gonna build more systems eventually,
Do
but
you really see? I've never seen that. You got to share that on your channel. I had no clue, man.
and then I had no idea how to paint. Like I wanted to do towers, but I wanted to look like old copper towers. I made them out of fence posts and PVC, and then I painted them and I put like little rivets on them. Like they were so cool. And then I was like, I wanted to make it like patinaed, and I'm like, I have no idea how to do it. And now when I do the paint job, now I'm like, man, I never knew how to do it. Now I can paint it like
Well, I was
nothing.
gonna say all of your tools now all have that same look to
Yeah, all
them.
of my tools.
I love that. You inspire me so much to want to try to put like do that. And I'm like, man, it's like that looks
You
kind of
have
fun.
to. And it's like it's so much funner using them. I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
I'm
man,
sure.
this drill is so cool.
Well, you know, Ricky, it is even just like the little eyeballs that are bouncing. But like, you know, him in that track saw and stuff.
Yeah, it's so cool.
It brings that kid in you out, you know?
Yeah, like my son, I had like 3 DeWalt drills. So I was like, let me paint one for him. So I never finished it, like everything. But it's all like I did like a whole Buzz Lightyear paint job. So it's like white and it's got like the little buttons. And I'm like, it's like got purple accents. It's so cool. And now he just wants something else.
That's so funny. So are you a lifelong horror movie fan?
Yeah, I love it. And then he loved it. Like as soon as I did like the first slasher, I think he was like maybe like 1, and then he was just like Jason Mickey. He's like, let's go, and then he's like been obsessed ever since.
Dude, your kid's a badass. Mine, like I said, it will run away and hide if anything scary comes on. They heard doo doo, they'd probably just run, not even knowing.
He's obsessed. He like all like when we go we went trick-or-treating, like this one people they had all the animatronics, and he's like, that's Darling Dolly. He's like, that's this. He like names them all. He's like, that's the sitting scarecrow. And I'm like, he can name everything in Spirit Halloween, every single animatronic. Like it's all he wants to watch.
That's so funny.
And I don't know to be proud or worried.
A little of both. A little of
little
both.
of both.
It's always good to just be a little bit worried about your children. I go to mine all the time. You're not gonna kill me one day, are you? They're like, no. I'm like, are we sure? Just checking in, you know.
Oh man. But
I watch too many movies, you see.
Yeah.
Don't trust anyone.
He's gonna be a monster once he starts doing stuff. Like, he's starting to draw. He's like, I drew a cactus. I was like, all right, let me see. I'm like, it's a pretty good cactus, man. He's like ready to go. He's ready to start carving. I was like, all right, man, I'll let you do a little bit. I was like, we can do something. What do you want to do? And he's like a zombie snowman. I was like, okay, like, I guess.
You're
So,
like,
I don't
son,
know.
can we try to not zombie everything?
Like, anything else? But he's like, nope.
He's gonna be very creative though. Like seriously, growing up in the house like this already, you have to. I literally am just starting to put my art on the walls. Like I literally don't, like you said, don't stop to breathe. And I need to start like just fucking concentrating on the shit that's around me and just like make it pretty in here. I got a missing piece of art on the wall here. I mean, I gotta fix that.
You're like all this stuff like sat in it's just all sat and stacked all up for probably like 2 years. And I'm like, I gotta start hanging this stuff up.
It's one of those things. We make it to sell it, and then you don't even think about anything else. You're like, oh, I should probably decorate my own home.
Yeah, his room, like I gotta finish his room, like that's like so much left to do in there. But and then now because he has like a top story and a bottom story, and then like the whole like walkthrough, like we're gonna do it like a haunted house now. So it's like a Star Wars room with like a haunted house in it, and I'm like, I mean, we'll make it work.
So what are you gonna create in there to make all that happen?
I don't know, like I got like one little door, and then we're gonna do like a sliding door, and then like under his stairs we have all these like they're like the hanging like electrical wires that like vibrate and make noise when you walk through. So that'll be when you go upstairs. Yeah, it's a lot.
So when are you getting into prop making?
I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I just make the stuff, and I'm like, that's like Kristen. She's always like, you're making movie props. She's like, it's movie props.
You are. Like, you are.
It's like the ice cream cart, like that one I did for the Scroll Saw challenge. Like like we put it up, and then we kept it up for Halloween, and then we were gonna take it down. And I was like, well, it looks pretty cool behind the tree, so it's still up for Christmas. So we have all these zombie ice creams like all in our living room.
Hilarious. I gotta say though, prop making is kind of fun. I have some machetes that I made, which again, I'm terrible at advertising, but that say like mama's friend or like make mama proud and shit. Like
That's super cool.
it's fun. I actually do want to make more like machete. Like we do sound like two kind. I'm like, I do want to make more machetes though. I made a chainsaw once. That was fun.
That's super cool. That's super cool.
I want to make another one. And like it was okay. I want to make an awesome one.
Yeah, that's like when we did his Mad Max Jeep. I was just like, and it was like such a dud every time I posted it. But I'm like, this is like one of the coolest things I've ever made. Like, I'm like, man, I got like a bunch of like scrap pieces from like the jet I work on, the A10, and from the gun. Like, it's got like gun parts on the wheels. I'm like, man, this is from a fighter aircraft. I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever made.
That's awesome.
And it was like, he's like obsessed.
That's the thing. Like, I think about these challenges that is really nice is that we just, like we were saying earlier, you keep pushing yourself to go bigger or crazier. Like, I didn't think I was going to be doing the things I did this year. Like, no idea that those were going to happen. And it's kind of cool. Like, you know what I mean? Because then we have these artifacts after that's all done and that you get to look at all the time. Like, I just legit stare at my Tiff doll every day. She's in our living room. Like, literally, I just stare at her like, hey.
It's humongous. It's humongous.
Hey, girl. Hey there, you 3 foot tall. Like, seriously, 1.5 foot of it's her hair. How you doing? The fact that she stands, you know what I mean? It's like so prideful. I legit thought I was just gonna go like, boom, when I was done with it.
How long did you do it from like start to finish?
I don't know. I'm gonna guess 40 to 50 hours, maybe. Because like it's so hard to count. Like starting to mill the wood, like, you know. And then the glue up process, and then just slowly.
And then you just get lost in it.
And
I'm like, I'll be in it a little bit, and then like my wife will come out there and be like, when are you coming in? I'm like, well, that was 2 hours ago. I was like, I'm coming in now. Like, you just get lost, and especially once you start like shaping it, and then you're just like, oh man, I just got to get this done, and then this done, and then like you just see it like coming to life.
Yeah. Yes. That's why I tell people like carving's addicting. I probably fair warned you. I'm like, just be careful, because once you really get into it, like you get lost in it. But it makes me feel so good on the inside to watch this thing shape up. Like, just to know that you could do that, because you watch those chainsaw artists just whip these things together.
It's insane. I don't even know how to tackle that. I'm like, good grief.
You will. You'll be make something like that. Skulls behind you. You'll be doing those next.
Like, man. Yeah, the chainsaw stuff is insane. Like the Saburrtooth page, I'm like, there's so much stuff on there that's like, and it's like so different all the time. I'm like,
yeah, there's such a variety of people. There's so many different ways to use it. I feel like that's how much I've like over the last 2 years, I've learned just so much from watching everybody else of how they're using their tools. It's crazy. And I'm like, you probably fast forward so fast, like just again, the same thing, right? Like you're just observing and learning. And now you got a nice big dish, right? You got a green one?
Yeah, I got the green one. One.
It's fast,
and then,
right?
I used the other ones too, and I'm like, oh man, it's like so clean. Like, because I always like grind my frames with the wheel, and I'm like the ones I have, they're like missing all their teeth, and I'm just like, there we go. And I'm like, I finally got the new one. I'm like, oh man, it is
like,
nice.
This is what it's supposed to be like.
It is nice, and it carves so much, and it's like so clean. I don't got a lot of sanding to do, especially on MDF. Like, I love carving MDF. It's like my favorite thing to carve.
I've never really carved it except for one time. For the scroll saw video, that one random rose. But I do need to. I was telling my husband that the other day. Like, I have like chunks of MDF that I just cut off from when I had to like put my CNC table together. That had just been sitting in the corner for like 6 years. I'm like, I should probably just make art out of those, because you're just sitting there looking horrible in my shop. So
it like carves like butter. It's like the nicest to carve.
All right.
Like, I like carving it.
I'll dive in. I hear it's
And then
messier.
especially, and then you just epoxy. Oh, it's messy. It's disgusting. But then and then epoxying it, I'm like, yeah, like with the MDF, like I never have to worry about bubbles. And I'm
Oh, okay.
like MDF is like my favorite thing to epoxy to. Like the
You're like,
paint and
it's
then
a
epoxy
dream.
and done. Yeah.
I know people always ask me like, why don't you ever use hardwoods? And I'm like, but why? I paint it. Like,
Yeah. Like I have I have so much hardwoods that I was like, yeah, I'll use them. And I'm like, if I'm not making a cutting board, I'm like, I want to paint it and I want it to look gross and old. And
I do regret I used oak for my sprinkles on this donut. And then I painted them and shaped them. It was so exhausting.
yeah.
But it was the right thickness. That's why I used it. But man, that was exhausting. I'm like, I wish I was leaving these plain. I wish I was leaving these plain. It was so much work. I was actually, when I was texting earlier, like about editing, I was getting all this footage from the like carving of those, and I was just exhausted watching it. I'm like, oh yes. I remember when I spent an entire day just carving sprinkles. Yes.
I mean, it's pretty cool though. Where are you gonna put it when you're done?
I'm gonna make a stand, so I'm gonna make the box of donuts. Um underneath it, so that way it'll have like a little stick and it'll be suspended on top of the box of donuts.
That's super cool.
Yeah, because I'm like, otherwise I was gonna hang it on the wall, but I'm like, it'd be kind of cool if it was on a stand, right? Like,
Yeah.
can't you see that on a stand instead? Because if it's just on the
The box
wall,
of donuts would be super cool.
yeah, just like a bright pink box of donuts on the bottom.
That'd be pretty cool.
It's got a bright future. I do want to, yeah. So I put them in front of it so we can look at them. I'm like, they're there and they're beautiful. I got them in their beautiful bright colors. And then I'm so happy, like Alpha 6 sent me some more paint. So like I got to use my favorite colors on it. I'm so excited. I'm like, it looks so cute.
Is that your go-to paint?
It is. You know why? It flows. It's dreamy. It just flows. I love how it is. You have to use a few coats, which sucks, unless you get the enamel.
Yeah.
But it flows so beautifully. Like it's nice to paint with. So
Gotcha.
yeah. I was happy to have it. Like I didn't want to go back to my cheaper paints. I'm like, I've been there for so long. And now I've touched this paint and I can't, like you get a taste of the good stuff and you don't want to let it go.
Yeah. I have so many old paints. Like some of them, I'm like, oh, it's the perfect color. I'm like, oh, it's like rock hard. I gotta throw it away. Get like a new one.
It is, yeah. I know. And I'm not careful with my shit. I let things go bad. Like I do gotta bust all those out and have the kids like just have some fun and let's go for it.
Yeah, that's like I like paint out of the cap, and I was like, if you don't close that, it's gonna dry out. And I'm like, it won't, and then it does. I'm like, I should have closed it.
It sounds like you need to listen to your wife more.
And I try. I just get so busy.
I put that in there for her.
Always right.
She can thank me later that we recorded you saying that.
She's always right. I don't want no problem. Like my son's always like, he's like, I don't want no problems. I was like, I don't want no problems.
You guys have been together long enough,
Yeah.
I love that. That's so cool. Well, I'm glad we got to hang out for a while and chat about things, man. I'm excited. I've been, like I said, I've been loving seeing everything coming out of your shop lately.
I appreciate it.
It's thrilling. Yeah, no, you've been going for it.
I appreciate it.
And the dressing up, that was key to the reveal.
I'm like, oh, that was terrible. So that was like props to all the ladies who are eyeliner. I was just like, she was like, you gotta do it. I'm like, okay. So I put it on and I'm trying to get it off. I'm getting soap in my eye. Like I'm like about to cry. I'm like, this is the worst experience ever.
So glad you brought that up. So when I did the Chucky reveal, I asked my husband to be Chucky, right? And I was like, babe, like, how much do you love me? Can I put some makeup on you? And he's like, oh God. So I put eyeliner on him and then some eyeshadow around his eyes. And he was so miserable. Almost immediately, he's like, it burns. Why does it burn? It feels like it burns. This is uncomfortable. You put this on your eye. So he was like, it just started off, and then we're in like, he's in there, he's trying to be Chucky, and he's just like, ugh. I have to re-release that video because that was just so funny. Yeah. So props to us
it was the
ladies.
worst. Washing it off, I'm getting soap in my eyes. I'm like, this is the worst. And I couldn't get all off. And I'm like, now I take my son to his doctor's appointment the next day, and I'm like, I look like emo. I'm like, what is this? It's terrible.
This is your soundbite for this episode. Eyeliner is tough.
It's tough. Props to all ladies who wear makeup, because boy, that's washing that off every day is tough. I was like, never again.
Until the next time you have to dress up.
Yeah, and we did liquid latex, and I'm like trying to get the wig to stay down, so I'm like putting it in my hair, and it's not coming out. I'm like, this is the. I'm like, but I mean, it looked cool for pictures. So. Oh, it was rough.
Do you have any footage of you going through those experiences, or no?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. I wasn't filming. I was just like, I can't see.
We gotta get your wife with filming you, man, because that would be hilarious to release that shit afterwards. Oh. Why do people do this?
It was rough. It was rough.
I gotta release my husband just literally saying like my eyes burn. I think I told the guy I got him saying that, like, why?
Yeah, it was an experience.
It was so cool. Like that, I don't know if you're gonna be able to top that one in the future for trick-or-treating. That was,
I think
that
so.
was pretty epic. Oh,
we already got next year like planned out. I think so.
You're gonna be starting this in like May, June.
I'm like thinking about it. Thinking about it. I think it'll be. I'll just tell you what, the theme will probably be Frankenstein, and it'll be like over the top.
Okay.
So we'll see.
So a table that's gonna be moving.
It'll be like probably like a whole laboratory with like lights and lightning, and we'll see.
That's hilarious. So essentially like the same scene I did with my husband as Chucky, but you doing it the real legit Frankenstein. We don't like similar movies. No, not at all. That's hilarious. Okay. I look forward to seeing that.
Hopefully. It might change, but usually we figure it out pretty early and then just like run with it.
It's good. You have a plan. My husband is not that into the Halloween, or I think maybe we wouldn't know. He likes it though. He loves going out and trick-or-treating and shit. Like, but you know, he'll put a little something on. Yeah,
my wife wasn't either. She was like she would like the stuff, and then like from an art standpoint, she was like, yeah, all the slasher Mickeys are super cool, but she's like, I'm not into them. And then like the more my son's into it, she's like, I guess we're buying this Chucky doll. I guess we're buying this. I guess we're buying that. And then she just like
starts getting into it. Yeah.
I'm like, yes.
We have converted her.
So she's all into it now. I'm like, I'm for it.
That's called love. She knows how much you guys love it, so she ended up loving it. That's so cute.
Yep.
That'll be the day I start buying Pokemon shit for my kids and stuff. I keep trying to hold out. They're like, Mom, look at this thing. And I'm like, no, don't suck me into it.
Man, you got to do a Pokemon. You would kill a Pokemon piece.
They love Pokemon. They love Pokemon and Roblox.
Yeah, I was going to do a Pikachu like a while back. And then I started editing. So I was going to do them like all steampunk and do like all like the patches. And then I started editing it and then took on an order and like it all fell apart.
You're making me really want to make my kids something really cute though. So
you should.
I'm telling you,
the way you paint too.
Once this is done, it's kid time. So I got some designing ahead of me. You're making me think about designing now. I'm like, okay, is it Procreate or is it Illustrator? What am I gonna do? The hockey one is the one I think I'm gonna have the hardest time being creative. I don't want to make it boring. Like, he wants it hockey themed. But 37, I'm like, I don't think he's not a horror fan, so I can't like lean into like a Jason vibe. I'm like, how do I make this interesting? Maybe I play with hardwoods for this one. Maybe I do that. I switch it up a little bit. Something I don't do. Because otherwise I'm like, how do I make that cool? I'm not a sports
You
mom.
make it big. You make it big.
Just going insane. Gonna have to. All right. Well, I'll let you go and have a good night. But thank you for coming on, seriously. And again, I can't wait to see what you're revealing tomorrow. Seriously.
I'll send you pictures too anyway. So
I know I want to send you pictures of my finished donut too. So after this, you're gonna get a picture. All right. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed getting to know Chris. If you're not already following him, go ahead and check out his page, Dream in the Woods. You are going to be very impressed. He makes such gorgeous pieces. If you want to help support their show, there's plenty of ways you can do that. Click on the link in my bio and you'll see there's some affiliates in there. You can send me a gift. And I got to recommend Carhartt as always. Get yourself some gear. All right. The next episode I have is with another brand. It's going to be with Gearhart Industries. If you don't know them, they make the irons for all of the makers like myself who want to brand their pieces but don't have a laser. So before I got my laser, that was the way I put all my branding on everything I made. And I'm excited to have them on. I had no idea the story behind the company. And it's really cool getting a peek inside. Plus, they're going to be at Workbench Con, so that's always fun. Speaking of Workbench, if you are going to be going and you want to save $50, you can use NIGHTCARVER to go ahead and save that money. All right, have a good one.